What is existence? Why do we exist? What is consciousness? Is there free will? Is everything predetermined? Is it a little bit of both? These have been the questions that have been on my mind really, really heavily, I would say, the past couple months. And really, honestly, my entire life, because this is the philosophy of humanity. This is what is at the root of our experience here. And possibly this is a part of the major lesson, what we desire to learn on Earth, specifically existence within a physical nature, within the limitations of ego and the conscious mind, and the illusion of us being separate from the divine, separate from source, God, whatever you want to call it. And I have really just been getting very clear, even with the term metaphysics, because it's been really interesting how I have been feeling very energetically drawn to certain terms, specifically metaphysics and starseed. And it's not necessarily about the word, but about the energy that the word holds, right? The energy behind the word, within the word, the experience of that essence of what metaphysics hold, what starseed holds. And when I say these words, and I know so many of you probably relate, is that it opens up like a portal or just this gateway to further discovery, to some sort of mystery. Because at the end of the day, the questions that I just stated at the beginning of this video is there is really no definitive answer. And we can really say that we assume that we'll know the answer when we transition from the physical into the spiritual or into the energetic planes. And this has been what has been inspiring me a lot lately. This is what has been just really taking a lot of my time and my attention, just listening to many different experiences, to studying the philosophy, to connecting with my spirit guides, with my galactic guides, asking questions and following their guidance, and being able to embody this experience, this journey of metaphysics. Because at the core of it all, we as humans are really in this deep search of belonging. We feel that we don't belong. We feel, we question our existence and our belonging. And what's really crazy to me, so just to timestamp this video, it's February 25th. We are in pretty much the very middle of eclipse season. And Mercury is about to retrograde in Pisces. So, with that Pisces energy, there's the connection to the divine, right? That open crown chakra, the open third eye, and the feeling of being a part of everything. But then at times, as humans, we can feel so overwhelmed that we disassociate, that we separate ourselves from our emotions, or even from the physical or our environment, because it's so overwhelming. We feel unsafe within our nervous system, within our physical body, within our existence here on Earth. And what's really interesting, that and trigger warning here, is that in the past 24 hours, I've heard, or I'm going to say 48 hours, I've heard 4 or 5 different humans speak about not wanting to exist, right? One was from a book. The others were from people that I engage with on a regular basis, right? And so it's just, there are no coincidences, right? The fact that I'm pouring myself into this philosophy and experience in questioning and studying of like, what is existence? What is consciousness? And I'm receiving these experiences or these shares from people who are also considering the same thing, but from a more immersed, possibly existential point of view or experience, right? And so I don't really know where I'm going with this. I'm honestly just sharing what I've been thinking about, what I've been journaling. Here on my channel, I've been sharing a lot about extraterrestrials. And so that brings in this context of star seeds and really the work and the practice that I do in reference to astrology, dream work, astronomy, and starseed, or I like to look at that more as cosmic identity, right? That connection or cosmic connection, it's all entwined with this aspect of metaphysics or the nature of metaphysics. So, just to share my perception or these deep ponderings of metaphysics and where I'm going with this I was journaling on this a couple of days ago, and these deep ponderings that come forth in reference to metaphysics is, what is the nature of existence? That's kind of like number one. What is consciousness? What is time, even? And I feel at its core, what I'm really tapping into, and those of you who are on this journey exploration of the ancient mysteries and kind of what lies beneath, what like these esoteric teachings and so forth, at its core, which is metaphysics, is what is the unseen structure behind what we experience, behind existence, behind time, behind the physical, right? What is the nature of the soul? Is there free will, or is existence predetermined? How does cause and effect truly work? So this is like from my journal, these are all questions that have arisen in my studies, in my conversations, just in reflection. This is what I'm leaning into. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of this here. I'm going to say that I don't know the answer. This is what I'm sharing from my perspective. So just full disclosure there. Like, I'm not here to be like, this is what this means, and I found the truth. If it comes to a point where maybe I found the truth, I'm not going to deny that, but I don't ever really see that happening because I'm human and I have a human filter. And this is the way I perceive it. Right. So I am really also interested in how you perceive these different questions and these topics. So, from a spiritual or esoteric perspective on metaphysics, this is the experience of consciousness as primary. And so, what that means is that our consciousness, our awareness, our evolutionary state of our consciousness is what creates our reality, right? So we've heard like your thoughts create reality, beliefs. It, in this sense, it's a little bit more expansive, right? Where are you in your level of awareness? And it could be, you can look at this as basic as, am I looking at the positive aspects of this challenging situation, or am I going to focus on the negative, right? Am I going to focus on conspiracy theories, right? And how everyone's working against me, or am I going to focus on the extraterrestrials that are coming forth to help me really feel into my human earthly purpose and assist me with anchoring my sense of belonging here on earth, right? So it's like, how do you perceive it? What is your state of consciousness? Right? Where are you at in that evolutionary journey of the expansion of your consciousness? That in itself will inform your reality. We also have archetypes and symbolic language. You see that so very closely entwined with dream work, with dreams. Also, with the spiritual context of metaphysics, we have energy fields and subtle bodies, right? And so, in the law of resonance, right? And so, this is that frequency healing, frequency connection, sound healing, being able to sense and tune into your environments through the subtle energies, right? The subtle bodies, the energetics of the plants, of the animals, of the elements, of nature, of this desk, of my journal. You know what I mean? So it's like everything has some level of consciousness. And that consciousness is essentially, it's like, what is the need for it to be activated, right? Like we can have a conversation about how this journal has consciousness, right? How crystals have consciousness. But in a sense, it's going to be somewhat dormant because it's not like, what is the need for that level of consciousness to be activated? And again, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but this is everything that's just coming up. These are the things that I've been really thinking deeply about, right? But I do really tune into consciousness as primary, right? And so I just want to bring this full circle because I feel that it's going to be fun to explore these different questions and ponderings, these different points here in reference to metaphysics. And I do want to just point to how it's all connected. As I have been expanding and doing the work, embodying the teachings, I've been moving through, different modalities, astrology, energy healing, dream work, ritual work, candle work, starseed exploration, sound healing. Sometimes I really get annoyed with myself because I'm just like, can you just pick something and stick with it? Right. And it's like I'm always switching things up. But again, I can't really be, why would I be mad at myself about that? Why do I have to just fit myself into this one little category and be in that? Right? Why can't I explore and expand my consciousness and gather tools along the way? And so when I really sat in reflection and started really thinking more deeply about metaphysics and my practices, and I'm sure many of you watching this have practices and experience and study these different topics as well, and they're really all connected at their core. They're connected with the nature of reality, the nature of our existence, and the desire to learn more, to explore more, to experience what this really means, or how you can embody this in a physical earthly way. Because what really matters for our earth existence is that action, right? So I could sit here and I can read all the books, I can, really intellectualize what I'm reading, what I'm studying, but it really comes down also to the practice, to the action, and that embodiment. That action is what really makes the difference, right? And so as I'm thinking about my modalities, my resources, my passions with astrology, right? Astrology brings in this aspect within metaphysics of the nature of time, of destiny versus choice. Whenever someone has a reading with me, I am always, one of the first things I really make clear, I'm like, my perception of your birth chart is that you chose this framework, right? You chose to enter this life at this day, this year, this month, at this location, at this exact time, to anchor in this cosmic blueprint for yourself, for your intentions, for your purpose, for your healing, for your integration. So that is destiny, right? In some ways, but you chose it. And as we move on with our life and journey, we make our choices within this framework, right? So there's that nature, that experience of free will and fate or destiny. Of course, there's a nature of time. I really look at astrology as more of like a timing element, like looking at it as a celestial clock and knowing, okay, this is the end, this is what time it is astrologically. This is the energy that's present, right? This is how I utilize it, right? And with these particular alignments, and I pull in the archetype. So that archetype and symbolic language is important. The nature of the soul. So you, especially from an evolutionary perspective, astrology will touch on those metaphysical concepts of what is is the nature of the soul when we think about past lives, where we're evolving towards that Pluto aspect too, that karmic, those karmic patterns in our connection to our ancestral lineage, our spiritual lineage. All of that is within your birth chart. And of course, The astrology literally is a mapping of the unseen structure behind what we're experiencing. So you don't have to know anything about astrology, but astrology is still, or the movement, I should say, of the planets within the stars, or within the oh my gosh, what is the term? Um shoot. I can't even think of the actual scientific term of the path of the stars. The ecliptic plane, there we go. That whole element that's in play, that timing is still active whether you pay attention to your birth chart or not, right? So that unseen structure behind what we experience. Dreamwork. Dreamwork is a very, I was going to say direct, indirect, a very strong example and experience as consciousness being primary. Like our subconscious is so powerful, prominent within our dream space. And once you really dive into dream work, you'll start to see how your subconscious or your dreaming self really integrates and communicates with your conscious self, and how your dreaming self or your dreams are reflections of your waking life and vice versa, right? So we have consciousness as primary. We also have the archetypes and symbolic language, as that is the nature in which dreams speak and guide. We also understand or experience the nature of the soul. Again, the unseen structure behind what we experience, right? Those subtle energies, those subtle bodies are very present in the dream work. And we really get to witness and tap into the creative intelligence of consciousness. And so finally, there is starseed exploration, which is like what is so alive in my space right now. And this is tapping into the metaphysical ponderings, contemplations, exploration of the multidimensional self, the multidimensional nature of the self, right? Exploring your identity, expanding your cosmic identity, really getting to know that and tuning into existence and belonging, right? We know that there are other, like we all know there's intelligent life elsewhere, outside of this planet, outside of the solar system, and so forth, right? And so this is really helping us to explore the nature of our soul in other realms, right? Identity in on other planets and other lifetimes, or different aspects of ourselves. This is in itself the study of the nature of existence. And we are tuning into that philosophical aspect of metaphysics, of the material and the physical realm. So what is a physical existence in compared to a non-physical existence, or even an extraterrestrial existence? Aren't we extraterrestrials as well? So these are all the things that have been coming forth in my journey as of recently and over the past few months. Like, it's all been building, but I'm really seeing how it's all integrated, and I'm so excited to share this journey with you all in so many different capacities, so many different containers. And thank you so much for being here with me on this journey and holding, compassion and patience, as I haven't been showing up as much as I have. I've been really changing, or I should say evolving into this version of myself, which I don't really know honestly who I am. I'm Urania, right? But I don't really know, like, I just have, there's no destination. There's no expectation of who I should be. I'm just showing up in the moment, in my excitement and in my passion. So thank you for holding space for that. And so I'm sure you have also noticed that I have been sharing videos specific to starseed exploration. I just did a 7-video series with my friend Jackie, who is an amazing Akashic record reader, facilitator, shamanic soul guide. She is amazing. And she has been very supportive for me on my starseed journey, and just the journey of really discovering or just integrating all of my many passions. And so her and I have collaborated, and we have really been sharing the starseed material, experience, journey, the exploration around star seeds. We have been sharing through our video series, and we talk about the 21 most or 21 primary galactic soul groups. And we also have been doing live streams where we talk more about our starseed journey and what it really means to be a starseed, and how it's more about being your human self and really embracing your earthly purpose while connecting to your galactic self, your galactic guides, and remembering these connections, right? And so, as a result of our collaboration and just what we have been uncovering and remembering for ourselves, and just the excitement that we've been experiencing with each other, we have decided to create this starseed activation journey, which is a 12-week initiation or experience that will help you explore your galactic soul connection and also learn how to master your human existence. I am just so eager and excited and inspired to support those of you who feel called to this journey. So, if you are curious about the Starseed activation journey, you can check out all the information and at the link in the description of this video. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments about what I shared in this video. I would also love to answer any questions you might have about the Starseed activation journey. The enrollment is open now and the journey starts May 18th. So I really hope to see you there. And stay tuned as I'll be sharing more videos around star seeds as well as metaphysics.